wanted to, let's see, what I have planned. Like I said, I didn't really have a plan for today. And so if you do have any questions, anyone in the group, that concerns any topics that you're confused about, whether it's quantum physics or anything, let me know. Hi Tosh, I love you. Okay, so I was going to start off with starting with the first card that I pulled today. I pulled from the Golden Future card deck, which I love the back of it. It gives me Lyra vibes. But anyways, the first one was group consciousness. We are all one. Okay, so I read, this card popped out last time, and so it's interesting that it popped up again. Something we need to explore again. So number 44. It basically says that in the Golden Future, we will understand oneness as they did in Lemuria. The beings of that golden age had a group consciousness. They were all tuned into one another and acted for the highest good of all. Migrating birds move as one, and they learned this in Lemuria. It is a very advanced state of being and will be possible for all when the navel chakras of humanity are fully awake. Wow. When the population lives as one, unimaginable blessings accrue. As an individual, you feel totally supported and experience pure happiness and joy. You are in the flow of the universe and can powerfully create with others for the benefit of the whole world. Very cool. And it says then, advanced spiritual technology beyond anything that was developed in the golden era of Atlantis will be downloaded to our world. Very cool. When we live in oneness, life becomes the most wonderful and beautiful experience for everyone. Okay. Very neat. And just so you know that there's like a guidance, of course, sometimes for these cards, and it says, if you would like to develop this navel chakra where community love and togetherness are held, it recommends practice tuning in to the auric fields and feelings of others, which I don't know if you're noticing, but more of us are waking up to being more sensitive to this. Yes, Moo keeps being brought up to me too, Tosh, which I'm definitely going to have, like, that description made me realize I think I have to tell you guys the Moo story, which connects to the time I was first contacted by aliens through hypnosis, so it's all connected. Very, very cool. And yeah, so practice tuning into other people's feelings and auric fields, and then visualize your glorious magenta soul star chakra opening and expanding like a magnificent flower so that you attune to all at a soul level. Also funny, somebody showed me on their phone today a picture of the biggest hibiscus flower they've ever seen that grew in their garden today. And it was like, we went ooh and ah for like a good 2 minutes about it. So it's funny that the imagery of this huge flower opening like a satellite dish is interesting. What year will we turn the government over and take our power back? It's happening now, but I'm glad you asked that. See, the problem is, we as humans, as those who inhabit the 3D, really want action to happen now. Yeah, and I totally get you. I'm right there with you. I am so ready for the bigger, obvious moments that everyone is like, ah, you're not crazy this whole time. Of course I am. You had hibiscus tea? That's so funny. Yes, we will have to connect, Tosh. So funny. And it was the biggest hibiscus flower too. Wow. Okay. So yeah, what was I talking about with that person and the government? Okay, so is it true that we are currently going through the, all right, I'll see you later, Tosh, the taking our power back transition right now? Yes. I like to say no longer the elite class, but the parasitic class is the old guard, right? And we are currently experiencing the transition to the new guard. It is happening now. The problem is, it's not super obvious if you look out into the news, if that's your only window, okay, into the real world. Because as we're learning, the news is not so trustworthy. So it's like, instead of looking at the news to be like, God, it looks so bad, it can't be anything good happening, which is exactly what it's intended to do. Is that correct, Merlin? It's like, yeah. Like, the news is really intended to tell you and inform you of the not so great stuff in the hopes that they anchor in the not so great timelines for humanity. Yes. And so if you truly love your country and this world and the people in it and your family, the best thing you can do instead of worrying about what's going on outside of your personal universal experience, because I work under the framework that, like, is it true that I am currently in my own personal timeline / universe? Yes. Yep. And we bump into other people's timelines and universes all the time as we interact, but we are all very much only responsible for our experience here, and that's can be hard. Aw, turn away from witchcraft. You know, it's funny because the church, which P.S. are the people who really murdered your supposed Messiah, are the ones who started the term witchcraft. Oh, my goodness. Just when I say that, my flame is going out of control. Look. Oh, no. Anyway. Make sure no fire starts over there. Haha, magic. But Jesus, is it true that according to the church's definition of what a witch is it true that Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary would have been burned at the stake? Yes. And so you guys are following this church, is these edicts that would have literally murdered, again, your Messiah over and over and over again, because your Messiah contradicts everything that your church stands for. And so, good luck figuring that out. It's very difficult. But Yeshua, which is his real name, okay, we could call him in, and maybe I'll do that one day. Maybe we should. I actually have been feeling like it's time to tell Yeshua's story. Yeah. Okay, well then let's ask. Would it be in our highest and greatest good to call in Yeshua? Okay, let's do it, guys. Let's do it. You can be here for this. In fact, I welcome you, Butterboo. And I know you may not believe it, but if you actually sit in this energy, you could feel the energy of Yeshua coming through. Is that true? Is it true that Yeshua even wants Butterboo to be here for this? Yes. Okay. Then, Merlin, can you please bring in Yeshua for a discussion? Yes. Okay. Yeshua, when you're here, can you please show me a yes? Yes. Okay. I felt a shift. It feels more throaty and like almost like heartburn, because it's like in the heart space. Okay, hold on. So shift into that energy. Feel the Yeshua energy. Okay. Am I currently connected to Yeshua? Yes. Okay. Ooh, this is intense. Have you felt this one before? I'm gonna like shake out my arms. Drink some water. Okay. All right. Churches everywhere and everyone, not just the priests. Yes, that's correct. I was like, what do you mean by that? Yes, that's true. I've never been of the idea that there's nothing good to be taken out of the church and the regular Christian experience. I was raised among many of them, and I see the beauty in the community that the church offers. Yes. But I've also had my fair share of children, friends, and peers who are in the church coming to me as a non-church goer and being genuinely afraid for like the salvation of my soul, because they truly were taught to believe that you are inherently sinful, and the only thing that can cleanse you of that inherent sin, which apparently God puts into every baby that comes in, is like a special washing in this special church by this special man, and only he can do it. And it's just like, and it just never sat right with me. And the older that I got and the more truth that I was exposed to, I realized why. I'm like, because it's all bonkers. It's all bonkers. Which part is true though, Butterboo? Because it's true that the art of baptism, the ritual of baptism, actually has like a cleansing, spiritual cleansing effect. Is that true? I'm getting a yes. But did the church create the ritual of baptism? That's a big no. Because, you know who did? The people the church labeled pagans are the ones who developed and worked with the ritual of baptism. Yeah. So that's the sweet irony. It's so funny to me because I get so many Christians on here who come in and be like, get this new age witch out of here. And I'm like, ugh, Jesus would have been labeled a witch. And new age, if you go actually by the historical map, the chronological thing, it's like technically Christianity. Would you say Christianity is technically more new age than the stuff I'm talking about today? Yes. Because the stuff I'm talking about today is ancient, like the beginning of the earth, ancient secrets. Yeah. It's like we're all connected because God is in all of us. And so God is like the permeation of all things. And it goes through us, and there is a connection, and it's real. Just as real as those microwaves that you know are cooking your food, even though you can't see it. Okay, so yeah, Jesus is waiting. Sorry, Jesus. Yeshua. Are you still here connected? Yes. Okay. Do you want to explore some more of the unknown truths of your story? Yes. Okay. All right. So this is what I have. We talked about the creation of the Bible and how the priests were channeling. Oh, very cool. And I'm sure that they were. And I bet you a lot of those Bible chapters that are no longer there, because I don't remember what year, I want to say like 1500 something, there was record of the Bible having like 80 something chapters at that time. Yes. And if you are familiar with the Bible, as I'm sure Mr. Betterboo is, because he is a devout Christian who understands his religious texts, it's saying no. But someone who does understand the religious text would know that we have like 60 something chapters in the Bible right now. Yes. So where did those other chapters go? Could they perhaps be under the yeah, I was about to say the schmatican. Yeah, most likely. So funny how the creator people corporation who created the Bible, released the Bible, also censored the Bible. I wonder what they could be censoring. Perhaps more channeled information that would make us witches out here seem a lot less crazy. So food for thought. Okay, so Yeshua. So as far as I've understood, and I highly recommend checking out the book Jesus and the Essenes. Do you recommend that book for people who want to understand more about your life? Yes. So Jesus and the Essenes is a Dolores Cannon book, and it's channeled information from some of her hypnosis sessions. I very much resonated with it, especially the scene where it talks about there was a person who recalled being alive and witnessing the Star of Bethlehem that shone when Jesus was born. Was there actually a bright, bright star in the sky at the moment of your birth, Yeshua? I'm getting a yes. And I'm telling you, hearing that scene described, it was described by someone from the Essene community, which is like it's a Jewish sect, a very secret Jewish society, okay, that is very connected to Mother Mary's family, correct? I think it's Mother Mary. Yeah. Yes. Mother Mary's family was very connected to the Essenes, and they are the reason, technically, that Yeshua and his family survived that, who was that Abel king? I feel like it starts with an H. But the guy who was like, he heard the prophecy, and so he was like, go and kill everyone's firstborn. Is it true that Yeshua and his family survived because of the Essene connection? Yes. The Essenes took them in and hid them. So the book is called Jesus and the Essenes. Herod, that's it. I knew it was an H. And Essene is Essene. Okay? Hey, Emily. I'm glad you're here. We were just getting into the Yeshua story. Okay. And so he was part of the Essenic community, and so he lived and studied with this community for the majority of his young life. Yes. And it was here that he actually lived and studied with, I believe it was John the Baptist. Yes. They were like students together in this community. Very, very cool. And I learned all of this from that Essene book. Oh, 222. I love it. Been seeing a lot of that one lately. Okay, so then, what's interesting I've read about his young life as well is that Yeshua was more powerful than most growing up, and it was like obvious in some ways, yes. And I read, I'm getting chills, because he, should I tell the story of how you accidentally hurt somebody, that story? Yes, okay. So there was a story that I don't remember how I picked it up, honestly, along my travels of learning. It was a story about how, as a child, and it may have been in the Essene book, I don't know. As a child, he, got into a fight with some other kid, and he accidentally hurt this other kid because of, like, the anger and emotions he was feeling at the time. It, like, manifested and hurt him. Yeah. And that was when Yeshua realized, like, oh, man, something is different about me. Yes. And, yeah. And so he was different early on, and he knew it. It was not in the book The Law of One, although why is that book always mentioned on TikTok comments? I have no idea. But it reminds me of the Raw book. Is it Raw Law of One? The Raw channeling books? Because if that's what you're talking about, love that stuff. Okay, then yeah. I don't think, they probably incorporate a lot of the same teachings because there is so much truth in the Law of One book. I highly recommend reading it. It's also another human manual, but Yeshua's teachings are slightly different, but I'm sure that there's some overlap. Would you say that that's true, Yeshua? Yeah. Okay. So back to Yeshua. So he grew up in the Essene community, grows up, he's a teenager, and he's learning from these people who are also teaching him what they know about spiritual, information, which is more than the average person of the time. Yes, because the Essenes were a secret society that pretty much kept a lot of information hidden. They also knew of the prophecy of Yeshua being born. Yes. So it was like, they were, in fact, I'm getting the sense that similar to, I feel like similar to the movie Dune, it's like you realize that the Essenes were not only aware of the prophecy, but also key in making it true and like widely known among others. Okay, so interesting. The book is called Jesus and the Essenes. Esssenes. Essenes. Okay, so then he grows up, he's a teenager, and eventually, he goes off, and I'm sure, this is where I'm not too familiar, but from teenage to adulthood, I do know that he does spend time traveling with his uncle, I believe. Is that true? Did you travel a lot with your uncle during this time? Yes. And his uncle, on his mother's side, was very wealthy. Would you say that he was he was a tin miner. He owned a tin mine, which made him wealthier than most. Like, yes. And so and also allowed him trade and travel routes. Yes. And so Yeshua used those travel routes to travel a lot more than we think or have record of him doing. Is that true? Yes. He had a niece as well. I'm sure he did. Did you have a niece and everything? Yeah. What I'm learning of my connection to the Yeshua story, which is wild in and of itself, is it true that I was considered a technical niece of Yeshua and Mary Magdalene? I get a yes. And it's crazy how I found that out from so many different channelers piecing together puzzle pieces. But my name was Eliza in that lifetime. Yes. And I was like raised with Yeshua's children. Yes. Mostly by Mother Mary. Yeah. So I'm going to get to that part of his story. But, so, he spends his young formative years traveling with his uncle, going to places like India. Yeah. So you went to places like India during that time? Yes. You went to places like, just like Asia. I'm seeing like Buddhism, Hinduism. It's almost like he just exposed himself to all these ancient religious secret schools Yeah. And so he went to learn, like travel and learn all that he could to control his gifts and master his energy. So, okay. So then he spends all that time. So that's like single Yeshua, learning, grinding, hustling. You can imagine this montage of like Rocky montage, like, I'm gonna be the very best. Oh my gosh, that's Pokemon. But you know what I mean. There's some Ash Ketchum in there too. Except instead of Pokeballs, he's catching all the wisdom and truth that he can. Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Yeshua, do you mind that sometimes I'm a little casual with you? Yes. See, we're family. I was probably wild in Eliza days too. Yeah, probably. Literally spewing whatever comes to mind. If you say so, cowboy. But I invite you to get to know my content further, and then I challenge you to continue to say that I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so he's growing up now. Okay? So at this point, at this point you still have not met Mary Magdalene yet, correct? Yes. And if he met Mary Magdalene on at the Temple of Isis, so would you say this is like an Egyptian area? Yes. Because even though we know her, or we think we know her as this prostitute, would you say Mary Magdalene is a prostitute? No. Mary Magdalene is more accurately described as a priestess, a high priestess of the Temple of Isis of her time. Is that correct? Yes. So when Yeshua met Mary Magdalene, which indeed, was it at a well? Yes. And if you want to hear this story directly from, I don't remember, I think it was Mary Magdalene's lips, okay, which I know sounds crazy, but I invite you to go and explore it. We did an interview, the Persephone interview, so it's the one with the, if you scroll back on my content, it's all pink with flowers and stuff. Persephone is connected to Mary Magdalene, and when she brought Mary Magdalene through, she did talk about the meeting of the well scene, and it was so romantic, and so I recommend checking that out if you're interested in that story. So yeah, they met at the well. It was immediate mental fireworks because there was a knowing. We are meant to do this life together. And not just do this life, they had like instant chemistry because they are divine counterparts of each other that were meant to experience divine sexual union, among other things, in that lifetime together. So, yeah. So then they meet, and then as well, Yeshua's mother is also ends up connected during her lifetime to the Temple of Isis. Yes. And some would even say the reason she was able to produce Yeshua is because of her inherent connection to Isis, but also she was always meant to be sort of a channel of Isis, similar to what I do with my partner. And so, yeah, she was a natural channel for Isis energies, which allowed her to become this vessel for the energies that Yeshua brought in. Yeah. So, yes. So Yeshua came in with a unique code. If you think of this place as like a simulation program kind of thing, Yeshua came in with a unique signature coding, unity consciousness, Christ consciousness that was meant to anchor in, because just as he's done in many other lifetimes, which we're learning, is it true that Yeshua has reincarnated again? Yes. And did he reincarnate as Nikola Tesla? I'm getting a yes. Which was another person who tried, arguably, I mean, not successfully in this timeline, but I've heard he's been successful in others. Is Isis here? I am currently channeling Yeshua! I was about to say Merlin because of the hat, but I just called in Yeshua. So we're talking to Yeshua, and I'm trying to talk about his, uneducated nonsense. I feel this is uniquely why I am an excellent person to be the silly person with the rods in the hat, because I too am an educated by Western standards person, and I have a double major in biology and Spanish. Yes, which by the way I got a full ride, so I got a full academic scholarship to college, and then I got a master's in forensic science. Yep. So it only so happens that life would have led me down the route of now I do hypnosis on people, the past life regression, and it led to alien contact, which opened up my whole world to the possibility of I don't understand anything and I need to. So here I am, trying to share everything that I can share, that I pieced together on my travels of trying to collect the evidence to determine we are not effed, the world is not doomed, and the future is actually very bright. Yes. So yes. So were they twin flames or soulmates? Yes. So the idea of twin flames is like, I think we can all agree that the word twin flame is something that has become very convoluted and weird because of like, I want to say like social media, like twin flame kind of stuff, okay? But there is a connection between the term twin flame and the one that the beings I speak to use, which is divine counterpart. Yes. This is how they explain it to me. Okay. God with a capital G existed. And at some point was like, I wonder what happens if I do this. And then split himself into Source and Sophia, more masculine and feminine expressions. And then over time, they were like, I wonder what happens if we do this. And then they kind of split into the 9 archetype masculine and feminine gods and goddesses that we've introduced you to as the Council of 9. And then those split, and then split, blah, 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 all the way down to, I wonder what it would be like if I got to be a suburban housewife who gets into hypnosis and tries to help change the world on TikTok and social media. And then boom, I'm here as a mini fractal of the great capital G God, okay? So, what was I don't remember what I was answering with that. Yeah, don't mind him. I really, I honestly don't mind. In fact, I prefer you all to just ignore the people who repeat themselves and are concerned that I am a witch or something. Like, I get it. But the fact that they're still here and asking these questions just proves that something is supposed to hit them. So just allow it to be. But yeah. I charge $300 for a 4-hour minimum hypnosis session. So what would you charge, sir or ma'am? Okay. Yes. Okay. So I would like to continue with the Yeshua story. Okay, where was I with this story? So he meets Mary Magdalene. They fall in love. They start to explore that divine union chemistry, because as we're learning, if you've been following the journey and these interviews, is that this divine union Kundalini awakening is like kind of the whole point to each of us as humans unlocking our full potential. Okay, and doesn't that just kind of make sense? Think about all the major religions that exist, right? Number one, they're all patriarchal. True. Number two, they're so patriarchal in their history that some of them even have phases where they either made women's sexual pleasure like illegal or punishable. Yes. So think about that. So like the lengths that some of these religions have gone to punish women who were in touch with any of their sexuality or joy or pleasure. You know, literally used to hunt people. And they didn't just hunt witches, they hunted like wealthy women, beautiful women, smart women, anyone who stood out as special, you were a target. And so here we are, you know, we came back, but new bodies. Can't burn us so easily these days. And so I'm glad you're intrigued, and I welcome discussion. You are not irritating me at all. So yeah, it definitely wasn't fair. So anyways, Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, they're doing their divine counterpart thing. And it's because Mary Magdalene is uniquely qualified, because you have to understand, we're learning that the priestesses, the sex magic priestesses, which I'm telling you again, Mary Magdalene was considered a high priestess of that order. Yes. She was not her first rodeo. She was a master sexual manifester, healer, everything. Okay? Master. I'm getting chills. So she meets Yeshua, who just so happens to want to save the world, and she finds out they're supposed to work together and travel the world and energetically boost each other, if you know what I mean, on their travels. Okay? On these travels, do they end up having children? Yes. Are those children raised on the road with them? No. I get the sense that they are raised back in the temple of Isis around family, Mother Mary, and the other priestesses, yes. Because they also were going to learn the same things that Yeshua and Mary Magdalene were trying to teach the world, which was never you have inherent sin. It was that you are inherently powerful and tapped into God, and if you learn to tap into, miracles are possible. And they tried to prove it. And, you know, once it started getting like a powerful message, the kings and the churches of the time were like, hey, this is not good for business. If people think they have access to God, then they won't come into our buildings and pay us for it. Oh no, we got to do something about this. So that's when you would call it, this is when team opposing forces in the church really team up. And they decide that this guy, we're going to turn him into a martyr and convert his message for our gain. Yay! But what ended up happening was that they severely underestimated what being divinely connected truly means. Because we're now understanding through just direct discussions with the consciousness of Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, who I'm connected to right now, yes, is it true, Yeshua, that there was it makes it sound like an Ocean's 11 situation, but there was like a whole organized plot to ensure your survival of this imprisonment, punishment, execution. Going all the way, as Emily channeled the other day, like we know Judas as this great betrayer, but actually, is it true that Judas was always your greatest friend and ensured you were sort of arrested by the correct soldiers at the correct time? Yes. It was so organized onto who arrested him, who would be, when he'd be taken down from the cross, all that kind of stuff. And so because it was, especially the getting off part, that was especially important because they wanted someone who would take him off before he was truly, truly dead. Yes. And so, is it true that these soldiers who betrayed the Roman Empire for this Save Jesus mission were paid handsomely for their help? I'm getting a yes. Isn't that so interesting? And I know it sounds far-fetched, but again, we're missing so many parts of this story, right? So, keep an open mind. And use your rods. Please use your rods to verify the information, right? Because the more of us who combine, again, as my scientific mind, I know, is it true that these answers cannot be trusted as 100% true? Is that accurate to say? Yes. And there are a lot of reasons. From, I could be lied to. Yes. I could have my own energetic filter. Like if I really want this to say yes, I could make it say yes. I'm trying to right now. It's harder than you think, but it's like, I know that there are filters. And so I invite you to please verify what I'm saying. Don't take what I'm saying as truth, please. But I am trying to offer up information that I've picked up that have helped me fill in the gaps of the missing parts of the story. So, then, what was I saying? So, okay, so he does end up surviving the resurrection, and there was layers involved to that. It was like there was a mix of, he almost had, I consider it like Jedi or monk powers that helped you like maintain a slow blood and heart rate so that you appeared dead. Yes. That's the impression I get, is that he was in himself capable of controlling his physical body more than the average person. Okay. Then there's the layer of Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary are also much more adept healers than people understand, because we right now are like, magic isn't real, that's not possible, but we're slowly learning Reiki is real, and that's like entry level compared to what people are truly capable of if you are spending your entire lifetime learning these things. Okay, then let's see what happens. So there was also, I think, another lesser known fact is that, is it true that the tomb you were put in after the cross, was it owned by a family member? I get a yes. And it was owned by a family member for a long time. And Emily channeled the other day that at least Mother Mary, people in Yeshua's party, including Yeshua, knew about the cross timeline for a very long time. Yes. So there was ample time to prepare for this inevitability, which he knew was part of the plan. So it all went according to plan. Would you say that the escape, the Ocean's 11, survive the crucifixion worked? Yes. And then is it true that you and Mary Magdalene and your children went on to live a quiet life? Yes, hidden from society. But is it true that you spent time writing during that time in seclusion? Yes. Is that writing available to us now? I'm getting a no. Is it hidden from us by somebody or some group? I'm getting a yes. And I already feel it, but let's just ask, is it hidden in the Vatican? Oh, interesting, I get a no. Ask again. Is it hidden is the missing Yeshua manuscript that you wrote after your resurrection, is it hidden in the Vatican? No. Is it hidden somewhere else? Ooh. Okay. Is there a likely timeline that we're on right now in which we discover it and make it available to the public? I'm getting it kinda. But I also get the sense that, are there people actively channeling with you now to try and bring back these things? Yes. I also thought the Sphinx, Hayes, let's ask, is your manuscript hidden under the Sphinx? I'm getting a kinda. Let me ask again, straightforward. Okay, go straight. Are your writings hidden underneath the Sphinx, Yeshua? I'm getting a no. These can be used to find water, and can they also be used to find missing items? Yes. But they can also be used to receive electrical impulses from other beings. Yes. So, very cool. Ask if we're allowed to know. See, the thing is, it doesn't matter, because what would I do? If I knew it was under the Vatican, am I going to email the Vatican and be like, hey, I heard you have Jesus's writings. I'd like to see them now. It's like, what can I do with it? The other day, we did find out with rods that, is it true that there is a real sword called Excalibur? Yes. And is it true that that sword still exists to this day and is in hiding somewhere or in storage somewhere? I gotta guess. And we even located it down to, is it true that Excalibur is currently located in someone's possession that lives in Brooklyn, New York? Yes. And I keep getting yes. So, what rich person in Brooklyn is hiding Excalibur, and for what reason? I don't know. But maybe we'll find out soon. But yeah, so that was pretty much his life. And so in theory, then Yeshua and Mary Magdalene died of old age. Yes. And they lived in France that whole time. Yes, so if you've ever been called to journey to France, like there might be a connection there between you and the energies of that family. So, is the sword enhanced? Yeah, they did say, like, does the sword have magical properties more than a regular sword? Yes. But I did ask this and I got a no, so let's ask. Does the current owner of this sword currently benefit from any of that enhanced magical power? I'm getting a no. It just sits there for this person. Yeah. Is it because this person is not technically worthy? I get a yes. Excalibur is like our Mjolnir. Like our Thor hammer. Yeah, you have to be worthy to pick it up. And I'm sorry, rich person with it in your storage, but you ain't it. You ain't it. So, just interesting things. And so, yeah, Yeshua has a lot to do, and Yeshua is very interested in connecting with people out there. Yes. And so you don't need rods. The rods are good for me because I am not a natural psychic, or at least I wasn't. And so I enjoy seeing the obvious thing. And I'm not moving my hands. Like, and they're doing their own thing. And so it's like, you can connect with Yeshua, and he is it true, Yeshua, that you especially want to connect with those who think I am full of it when I talk about you? Yeah. Yeah. Because the lengths to which Yeshua has endured so much atrocities in so many lifetimes, trust me when I say he doesn't care what you say or think. He wants you to know that, like, I keep hearing, are you saying, and let's ask, because I'm still learning how to open up, are you saying the truth will set you free? I'm hearing that. The truth will set you free. And in a sense, the truth will set Jesus free. If you were here for my last explanation on my video I recently posted about egregores and my first conversation with Yeshua, is it true that you said that because there's so many people that believe in this suffering Jesus on the cross, that he technically exists in sort of like a pocket dimension, like an egregore of human creation? Yes. And so, like, is it true then, Yeshua, that more than anything you want people to let go of that image of you on the cross suffering? Is that what you would like? Would you like to tell people that today? Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so funny that your name is Egregora. Ha! Ha! The synchronicities are just hilarious. So yeah, is it true then that Jesus, this being who suffered, the Son of God, martyr for all human souls, is this egregore? Are you saying it's an egregore that humans have created? Yes. That they created because the church created it in their minds. And did the church, at the time of creating that image and identity attached to you, even though it was a false identity, did they know it was a false identity when they created it? Yes. Did they know that by creating that identity, they would in effect create humans to create this suffering man on the cross as an egregore? Did they know it when they created it? Yes. And so he wants you to remember him as the consciousness you can still connect to right now. Yes. He's always here. And so in that way, the church got it right. Like, Jesus is everywhere and he loves you. They were right about that. But it's like he's not the only doorway to heaven. Correct. He's not. Would you say it's accurate to say that you are the King of Kings? No. Is it accurate to say that you are the Lord God above? No. Interesting. I don't know what he'll say. Is it accurate to say that you are the Son of God? No. Is it more accurate to say that we are all children of God? Yes. So, there you go. I tried my best to share your story. I'm trying to think if there's anything major about his story that I forgot. But I'm going to post this replay. And again, I'm sure I will get people who will be upset about what I say. But again, and for those who are out there like me who are tired of encountering people who are like, you're crazy, these lies, you whatever you're smoking, give me some of it. I ask you all to let them be. And what I like to say to people, and it really pisses them off, because I kill with kindness. Like, that's my method. And so I always say, You may not agree with me this time and this lifetime, but trust me, there will be a lifetime in which you come around to my way of thinking. And so it gives them the choice. Like, you can choose to explore the things that I'm saying with an open mind now and see where it leads you. Or you could wait a couple more lifetimes. I personally don't care. But if I were you and I ran into someone who was trying to make my life easier and give me more access to my divine power and truth, I would listen. So, yes, you should get some rods. These are from Amazon. I don't recommend getting all, like, because you'll see some people on TikTok who have like the fancy doodads on the tip of the thing. Or, I think the simpler is better. And the heavier the better. Like, I got a really thin one from Etsy, and I don't like it. It's so thin, it doesn't have like the gravity type feel weight to it. So yeah, let's see. Okay, so yeah, feel free to talk to let's say Jesus. It's ingrained in us, but do you prefer for us to call you Yeshua? Yes. Because that was your real name. Yes. And technically, you know, he became Ascended Master Yeshua. Yes. Along with Ascended Master Mary Magdalene. Yes. They ascended in that lifetime. That was an ascension lifetime. Yes. And we're also learning that you can also, is it true that you can also connect with Nikola Tesla if you want Yeshua? Is there a benefit in connecting to Nikola Tesla if you, okay. We learned the other day that Yeshua wasn't like, he wasn't a one-hit wonder. He came back several other times before and after the life of Yeshua, yeah. And one of his more recent and popular, like a famous person that we know of lifetime was Nikola Tesla, yes. We know as the man who tried and unsuccessfully failed because of opposing forces again to give us free energy. And so, doesn't that make sense? Like, this man has been coming in here. I think of him like a deep sea diver. A deep sea diver, SEAL Team 6 agent who's like, I'm going in there. And like, I'm going to try and help these guys. And he just gets attacked every time. Can he say something about Da Vinci? Da Vinci's interesting. It's funny because the book, The Da Vinci Code, was like a major activator for me at the beginning of my awakening, yes. And there is, obviously, I just talked about how it's true that Yeshua and Mary Magdalene had children, yes. And I believe it was 6 children, yes. So that whole movie, book, Da Vinci Code, is about how, like, all these secret orders, like the Templars, which is also connected to Merlin and the Arthurian age, yes. It's like, and is also connected to the Essenic community. We are going to learn one day that there have been a secret network of secret societies dated back to the Templars, the Druids, the Avalon, Lemuria, Atlantis, that have been trying to keep alive ancient wisdom through time, passing it down through generation in secret, even though opposing forces have literally been hunting for it this entire time. So, the Da Vinci Code, and then we'll find, it's so funny once you awaken to these truths and you realize that so much of our popular media is like full of breadcrumbs of truth, like the Da Vinci Code, which was a major activator for me. And then it turns out that well, I won't say the end of my journey, because the journey never ends in terms of finding out who are you. But at my present moment in my journey, I'm finding out that a funny little irony, synchronicity, is that the reason I was so drawn to the Da Vinci Code and why it turned the gears in my head and started making me think, like, something in here is very true, and it kept pushing me, like, gotta search. It led me to finding out that I had a parallel life connected to literally the children of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua. That I was their cousin. Is that an accurate way? In that lifetime, I was their cousin, Eliza. Yes. So, pretty weird, pretty cool. If only there was more, I guess, proof. You know, I understand, background in forensic science, evidence would be solid, that would be nice. But I'm working with astral and quantum webs. Proof is not in the pudding, it's in the source soup, and God knows where that is. That was a funny pun. God jokes. That movie impacted you too. Lots of things did, but the church's programming was stronger then. Yeah, but it's losing its power. So it's like, yeah, we're finding out a lot of truth. When will hard heal? I don't know. But I always say to people who are asking these questions, don't focus on the person. If they're meant for you, are they supposed to be for you? I don't know. Do you? Do you, boo? And the right boo will find you. Everything and everyone is connected. Yes, it so is. Oh, and I didn't even get to cover all the things, but that brings me back to this. Yes, the unity consciousness, group consciousness. Yeshua, is it true that you want us to kind of move away from saying Christ consciousness and move towards unity consciousness? Yes. It's like, I want to say he, but he and the powers that be up there on the other side that are helping us, it's like they almost had like a PR meeting, and they're like, you know, first of all, they learned a lot after the Yeshua lifetime and the Nikola Tesla lifetime. Yes, because they realized we need to stop sending in one, because opposing forces literally like devour him. Yeah, it's not enough. And so that's where all of us have heard about the return of Jesus Christ. Well, Yeshua, who I'm channeling right now, would like to say, is it true, Yeshua, that you are coming back to save us? No. Is it more accurate to say that the Christ return that is mentioned in the Bible, is the Christ return actually officially mentioned in the Bible? Yes, okay. So the Christ return that's mentioned in the Bible is actually more accurately described as the code that Jesus, aka Yeshua, came and brought in with his birth is very much active and alive and can be connected with, and that is called unity consciousness. And when you connect with unity consciousness, you are connecting with, are you connecting with God? Yes. It is the quantum web, unity consciousness, the quantum web that connects all of us. And not just on a physical level, because that's true, we're physically connected to each other, even though I'm not touching any of you, and yet I promise you we are physically connected through ether, plasma, all that kind of stuff. And then it's like, yeah, actually I'm channeling the being you know as Jesus Christ, but he actually would prefer to be called Yeshua, Mr. Swope. Is that true? Yes. So I just invite you to explore, first of all, using his correct God-given name and not the name the men in the Bible gave him. And then start exploring. I invite you to watch this replay of this post, because I went into great depth today on Yeshua's, the parts of his life we don't know much about. And so he would like you to read or learn about it. But yeah. So I understand this is a very controversial topic. So again, when I do post this and you do see comments that might be hostile, don't even engage. To all of my lovely followers out there, just don't engage. You know, people are going to find the answers to their truths in this lifetime, or the next, or the next, or the next, or the next. That is all their choice. And something that it took me too long to learn, and so I hope I can pass on to you so you don't go through the same struggle, is do not waste your energy trying to convince people. Which is so funny that we're talking to Yeshua right now, because, you know, people who call themselves Bible-loving, God-fearing Christians, it's like they spend a lot of their energy trying to convert people, correct? Yes. Does Jesus want people to convert to any religion whatsoever? Does he want his followers to convert anyone to anything? No. It's like he wants people to live sovereign, fulfilled, happy lives with a very healthy sex life. I know that's not what people normally associate Jesus with, but I'm telling you, it was very much a man, and a healthy sex life man. Very healthy. So, food for thought. He doesn't want to be idolized as the savior person. But he would like you to explore the connection between Yeshua, Nikola Tesla, aliens, and the secrets that are emerging at this time. And I'm so lucky to be able to be a part of helping uncover them. It's my greatest honor to be here with you all, sharing Yeshua's messages as best as I can, even if it's from the person who looks like a witch. I get it. But yeah, it is such a great season. So cheers to Yeshua. We love you. You are the reason for all the seasons. I love joking with him because I'm sure, Yeshua, I feel like you roll your eyes every time there is like a new Jesus-ism. Yes. But I love to say in my head, what would Jesus do? I love you truly. But yeah, there's some funny things that humans have created with Jesus's image. And I still love, like, I know there's a trend where people like take the mini Jesus figurines and like place them in random places. I get a lot of joy when I see that because I think it's hilarious. Yeshua, do you also take pleasure when people do those silly things in your honor? He's like, I'm getting a kinda, like, yeah, I get, of all the things, yeah, that's, he's like, I can see the humor. Oh yeah, even, oh my gosh, the picture. Oh, let's ask him since before we log off. I just forgot about that. Yeshua, have you seen the picture of Trump as you? Oh my goodness. Okay. Were you amused? I'm getting a no. No, seriously, did you find it funny? Did you find it even a little bit funny? He's saying no. But I feel like there's a little bit of a smirk. Yeah. I mean, it's very funny in my opinion, yes. Did Yeshua Jesus go by the name Sanada? Did you ever go by the name Sanada? I'm getting a yes. I'm not sure what that is. Is Sanada like a name or more? Is it more like was it more like a title? Is Sanada more like a title? I'm getting a kind of. Interesting. Oh, Sanada means. Does Sanada mean ascended master? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But wait, he says he thought it was a doctor. Totally believable. Oh, wait, was this like Trump said it was a doctor? I haven't read up. I just saw the picture and laughed. But Egregora, thank you for being here. And I love that I noticed your name right as I was explaining about Yeshua and the Jesus Egregore. So very cool. Anyways, I have to go. But I so appreciate you being here. Thank you for following if you're a new follower. If you want more of this, I've posted a lot of replays that have a lot of information on some of these topics we've covered. Excuse me. And I also have other content which I think you'd be even more interested in which I work with a partner who I put into trance. And she channels forward beings like Yeshua, like Mary Magdalene. And we have definitely channeled them before, and they have spoken through my friend's body, and we have it all on interview on here if you'd like to go and look through my content. But then if you really want to follow the Yeshua and Mary Magdalene stories, check out the Hercules and Persephone interviews that I have posted. They are the two beings, like the oversouls of Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. So I appreciate you being here. I love you guys. And to close out today's Broads practice, just be sure to blow out your candle, thank all the beings. Thank you so much, Merlin, Yeshua, for being with us and allowing me to tell your story, Yeshua. Did I tell it appropriately? Yes. I feel like I still don't know everything, but he really wants you to take away that he was truly a man who pushed the boundaries of what we think is our bodies are capable of. And that he wants you to think of him as a prototype And he wants you to imagine the world, the future that we're creating, this golden future, is going to be full of people who are tapped in even more so than